For me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome. You are here in the lab room. Louie Tee Live. Thank you for joining me as I continue to break down every single game of Week 3 of the preseason in the National Football League. And we're talking about the Green Bay Packers on the road taking on the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to tell you right now, this was pretty much a snoozer of a football game. The first team offenses went out, did their thing, and got out relatively quickly. So not really a lot to talk about in this game, but we're going to talk about it here in a second. But first and foremost, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please subscribe to the channel, LouieTeeNetwork, for all NFL content in 2016 and moving forward. A number of different ways to contact the show. There's YouTube on the actual live feed. So if you want your comment read, use the hashtag LouieTeeLive there. There's Twitter. @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. So give me a follow there. Use the hashtag LouieTeeLive to address the show. And there's also Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Use the hashtag again, LouieTeeLive. All of those different social media platforms down below, right beneath me. And so I want to talk about this game and what I liked, I disliked, and my banana in the tailpipe. So I'm going to get right into the proceedings this evening. Likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe for this particular football game. Like, dislike, banana in the tailpipe.
What y'all, the second team?
We're the first team.
Yeah, we're not going to fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
So for those of you who don't know how this works, simply, it's a really easy concept. The things that I liked in this game, the things that I disliked in this game, and then the banana in the tailpipe is the thing that I'm not falling for, or things that I'm not falling for. They could be good, they could be bad. It's just something that I saw in this game that I'm not going to extrapolate into the regular season and say, hey, because they did this in this game, because it looked very good or it looked very bad, it's going to be the exact same way in the regular season. So let's start with the road team, as I customarily do. I'm going to start with the Green Bay Packers in this game. And everything that I liked in this game really came from the offensive side of the football. Aaron Rodgers, what more do I need to say about AR-12? I mean, the guy looked to be in rare form. Hasn't touched the field this preseason. This was his first action. It was brief, but it didn't need to be anything but brief. He went out, ran around, did his thing. They had a bunch of penalties on the opening possession, which killed their drive. He comes back out on the second possession and does what Aaron Rodgers does. Takes his team down the field, little mixture of run with Eddie Lacy and him throwing the football. They get into the end zone on a Aaron Rodgers pass to Randall Cobb. And just like that, Aaron Rodgers was gone. Poof, pow, magic, he's done. Again, this guy is so amazing. And when you watch him, you see the footwork, you see the arm strength. It just blows my mind how good this guy really is. And this was a brief and quick reminder of how good he is and why they're going to win the NFC North potentially this year if he's able to stay healthy and the guys around him are able to stay healthy. Eddie Lacy, look, we make a lot about his weight and you talk about his size all the time. And I was actually having a discussion with a couple of people that love to frequent the channel about his weight, but make no mistake about it, Eddie Lacy looks good. And I was talking to a Packers fan, and he said, look, it's less about his weight. He's always going to be a chunky, stocky guy. It's more about his conditioning, and he looks to be in really good shape in terms of conditioning. He ran the football well in this game, has run it well all preseason long. I thought he was strong, and if he's good this season and Jordy Nelson is good this season, the Packers are going to be good this season. Jared Cook Jr., this is a guy that came over from St. Louis that really no one's talking about, but this is going to be, to me, the X factor of this offense. They haven't had a tight end that can stretch the field. They haven't had a tight end that can work the middle of the field. They haven't had a tight end since Gerald Michael Finley that poses a mismatch threat on the football field like Jared Cook does. They love to split him out. They love to put him one-on-one with the safety or a linebacker. He wins those matchups consistently. He won it on a third down on that scoring drive for the Packers. He won it later on in the game on a fourth down. Jared Cook is a mismatch nightmare, and the Packers are going to utilize him. They line him up tight to the line in the traditional inline tight end as a blocker or as a pass catcher. They lined him up at fullback. They split him out. They're going to use this guy in so many different ways. And if he's able to stay healthy, he's going to have a big season, I believe, for the Green Bay Packers. And I've seen him do some work this preseason, and he did more work in this football game versus San Francisco 49ers. And I know this one doesn't matter. This one is more for the Green Bay Packers fans than anybody else. I got two guys for you. Joe Callahan came in the game because there was no Brett Hundley because he injured himself against against the Raiders last week. He didn't play, so Joe Callahan gets the second team reps, and he comes in and he is throwing darts in his football game. I'm like, who in the hell is this guy? Hey, I'm just saying, watch out for Joe Callahan. He's going to end up on somebody's roster. If it's not this Packers roster, he's going to end up on somebody's roster. The guy can play football, set some Division II records at his school. He can throw on a run. My gosh, this guy has a cannon, a rifle when he's on the move. Threw a beautiful deep ball to Davante Adams down the field. Should have been a touchdown, and he dropped it. I'll talk about that in a second. But make no mistake about it, man. I was impressed, thoroughly impressed, with a guy that's not even going to impact the 2016 season. I have no business talking about him, but because I was exposed to him and I kept seeing this guy make plays, I kept saying to myself, who in the hell is this guy? It's Francis Joe Callahan. Learn the name. He's going to end up on somebody's final roster or someone's practice squad, and he's going to ultimately find himself on someone's NFL roster. And Geronimo Allison, a guy that went to Illinois, I don't know if he's really going to be able to make this Packers roster or not, but saw him catch the football well, saw him do some things. They're loaded at receiver, are the Green Bay Packers. I don't expect him to be able to crack their roster per se, but look out for him to maybe be able to make their practice squad or make someone else's team. I like what I saw out of him in this football game. Let's go to the dislikes for the Packers in this game. I only got one, and it was Davante Adams dropping a deep ball, okay? Look, he actually looked good in this game. I don't want to beat Davante up. He had a rough season last year, and by all accounts, it was due to him having injuries and trying to play through them because the Packers simply lacked depth at the receiver position. And so he tried to gut it out and he wasn't healthy. Whatever the case may be, I know he looks a lot better. Had a catch and run down the sidelines that looked like it was going to be a scoring drive. Was called back due to offensive pass interference on Ty Montgomery. But Davante Adams looked good in this game, but he did drop the deep ball from Joe Callahan that I think he should have caught. And if he wants to separate himself, if he wants to reestablish himself as one of the better Packer receivers, like we thought he was going to be 2 years ago in the playoffs versus the Dallas Cowboys, when we saw him in that game and we said, oh, he's coming. And then the next year he flopped. If he wants to get back to that status where we think, okay, Davante Adams is a force to be reckoned with, he needs to catch passes like this. I thought he let an opportunity slip away there. Got to catch that football. And the banana in the tailpipe for me with the Green Bay Packers is the defense. Okay, I watched them go out on that first possession versus San Francisco and allow Quentin Patton to get behind the defense. Should have been a touchdown. If Blaine Gabbert hits him in stride, he's gone, and Sam Shields isn't going to catch him, and it's about a 75-yard touchdown to start the game. Boom, just like that. Second play of the game. Should have been a touchdown. Okay, the very next possession, they let the 49ers march right down the field. Some really nifty running by the running back for the 49ers, Carlos Hyde, puts them in a situation to get into the end zone, and Blaine Gabbert finds Quentin Patton to get into the end zone and make it 7-0. So I wasn't impressed with the defense. When they were against San Francisco's first team offense, they were getting torched. So my question is this defense really good? I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe because the score was 7-7 and the Packers looked like they were dominating defensively. They played against Cleveland in preseason game number 2. They played against the Raiders in preseason game number 1. Played against the Raiders in preseason game number 2. Played against the 49ers in preseason game number 3. Played well against all of those teams, but I'm not convinced that this defense is legit yet. We know that's been this team's Achilles heel, as the defense has been subpar over the last couple of years, and the offense has had to carry this football team. Is this defense actually really good? I'm not buying that, okay? I'm not buying that this defense is actually legit. It may very well be, but I still don't think they get consistent pressure on the quarterback. I still think this defense has holes. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe that this defense is actually legit in Green Bay. Let's get to the 49ers in this game. My likes. A healthy Carlos Hyde makes a difference, man. That second possession when they got in the end zone, he had a beautiful jump cut run where he cuts it back against the grain, outruns about 3 Packers, inside the 5-yard line. Carlos Hyde is a force to be reckoned with when he is healthy. Problem is, that isn't very often. And so he needs to be healthy. If he's healthy, this offense is going to be much, much better. And he got a concussion in this game, and I'll talk about that here in a second, but he needs to be healthy. Ray Armstrong, I was not expecting to see this guy out there running around making plays, but there's a battle for the other inside linebacker position opposite of Navarro Bowman, and I think Ray Armstrong, with this performance in this game, might have solidified himself as a starter for the 49ers. And I never thought I would say that after watching him with the Rams, after watching him with the Oakland Raiders, and seeing him as nothing more than a special teams guy. To see him starting and making the plays that he flashed in this game. He was everywhere in this game, in the backfield, sideline to sideline speed, which we knew he possessed. To see him making the plays that he made, pretty impressive. And so I think he is going to earn himself a starter spot after watching him perform the way that he did in this game. Dislikes. Second play of the game, Blaine Gabbert missed Quentin Patton down the field. You cannot miss that deep ball. I talk about this all the time. The separation between the good, the great, and the elite quarterbacks and there are a number of different criteria to meet that will allow you to get into a certain category. But one of the big ones for me is, can you hit the deep ball? Because you don't get opportunities very often in this league to hit the deep ball. And so if you're going to have a receiver running wide open, you need to hit him. Blaine Gabbert, second play of the game. Quentin Patton running scot-free down the middle of the field. This is a 75-yard touchdown on the second play of the game if he hits him in stride. He overshoots him by about 2 yards, and that is the difference between Blaine Gabbert and a good quarterback in this league, because Blaine Gabbert is subpar. And the difference between him and a good quarterback is a good quarterback maybe misses that by half a yard, or maybe they hit that, but the receiver had to slow down, or maybe he had to stretch out and it caused him to fall, but at least it's a completion. He didn't give his receiver a chance. And the difference between Blaine Gabbert and, say, the guy he was playing against in this game, Aaron Rodgers, is that Rodgers puts that on the money and it's a 75-yard touchdown, and Aaron Rodgers is sitting on the sideline drinking Gatorade, done for the day after 2 plays because it's a touchdown. That's the difference. Got to hit that, and that's why this 49ers team probably going to struggle, because opportunities like this can't be missed. They're not good enough, yet he missed it in this football game. Then the rest of the things I didn't like for the 49ers are all injury related. You know how much I hate injuries, period. Let alone in the preseason. They had a ton of them in this game. Let me run down them quickly. Quentin Dial, their starting nose tackle, left the game with a knee injury. His own teammate fell on his knee in a scrum. Didn't look good. Hopefully he's okay. Was able to walk off on his own power, though, but just because he did that doesn't mean he's fine. Hopefully he's okay, because, again, their defensive line is one of the strengths of this football team. They need him out there to be a force along their defensive line. Eric Reed, to me, one of the better defenders on that side of the football, had a thumb injury. Probably fine. They said he could have went back in the game if this was a regular season tilt, but it was just a preseason game, so they kept him out for precautionary reasons, of course. So thumb injury there. They'll probably tape that up. He'll be ready to rock and roll, but again, don't like to see guys go down with injury. Bruce Ellington, a guy that they really want to see some things from. They feel like he could be a difference maker because of his quicks, ability to get in and out of breaks and win one-on-one matchups. They feel like he could be a difference maker. Also a really good punt returner. He had a hamstring injury, and you know how tricky those hammies can be. So don't know the timetable for that. Again, hate to see a guy go down, and he's been dealt a really bad hand since getting into the league. Been dealing with injuries since day one. Never really been able to stay healthy, and again, he's being bitten by the injury bug. Eli Harold, a guy that has worked tirelessly in this offseason to get bigger, stronger, and faster, to become a more integral part of this 49ers defense. He injured himself. Don't know the severity. Don't even know what body part it was. Got up, looked like it might have been a neck or something upper body-wise, but not really too sure. Could have even been a concussion. I'm not sure. Just know he didn't look right as he got off the field. So looking to see what that turns out to be and hoping that it's not serious. And then Carlos Hyde, probably the biggest injury of all of them. Got a concussion, and he's dealt with these issues since getting into the league. He's dealt with injuries since getting into the league. And if he's not healthy, again, I can't stress this enough. If he's not right, this offense won't be right because Blaine Gabbert is under center. That in itself is already not right. If you take Carlos Hyde from this offense for any amount of time, this 49ers team is going to struggle on that side of the football. Banana in the tailpipe for the San Francisco 49ers is Blaine Gabbert in the offense. They actually look good in this football game. I told you that Blaine Gabbert missed an opportunity to hit the deep ball for a touchdown on the second play of the game. The second possession, they come right out, they march right down the field, they get right into the end zone, and Blaine Gabbert was done as if he was a vested veteran in this league that gets it done time in and time out, that you can just sit down. Now, granted, he's splitting first-team reps with Colin Kaepernick, who made his preseason debut in this football game. So I understand why he sat down after the touchdown. However, I'm not sold on this offense. I don't think that's what they are. That's not indicative of what they're going to be this season. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe that Blaine Gabbert is just going to be marching down the field and taking his team into the end zone and scoring points this season. Don't see that happening as frequently as I saw it in this game. They were actually moving the football and had opportunities to put points on the scoreboard. I just don't see that being the case. And I'll even throw Colin Kaepernick in there. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe that he's back. The biggest thing that he did in this game was stir up controversy with him not standing for the national anthem. Frankly, I don't give a damn. Can you play football or not? And I'm telling you, he didn't look all that great when he was in the game. A lot of running around, not a lot of passes being completed to receivers. So we'll see how that ends in the preseason. I'm already giving the job to Blaine Gabbert. I had given it to him before the preseason had even started. I had given him this job. If you go back and watch my 32 starting quarterbacks and my rankings of them, had already given a job to Blaine Gabbert then. So didn't expect Colin Kaepernick to come back and wrestle the job away. And I think this is Blaine Gabbert's job, and we'll see what he's able to do with this 49ers team in 2016. I think at some point you're probably going to see Colin Kaepernick in 2016 for this 49ers team as a starter. Don't know for how long, don't know why, but you probably will. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Neither one of these guys are going to lead this team to a bunch of victories anyhow. So that's my likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipes for this particular game. Going to check social media really, really fast to see if I got any comments on this particular game and this particular video. And then I'm going to check the YouTube live feed to see if there's any comments directed at me, which I seriously doubt it, even though I do have some people here chatting in the discussion. So I'm going to check Twitter quickly, and let's see. Nope, don't have anything. What up? What up, Showtime? My man Nick is in the house. But with that being said, going to go through this YouTube live feed discussion chat box, and there is nothing there either. So that's going to do it for this breakdown of the Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers in week 3 of the preseason. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. I will see you next time. Have a good one.